pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just ask for a moment of silence to remember those men and women who are fighting across the country and across the nation, across the world, for providing us with the blanket of freedom that we live under each and every evening.
Thanks, Frank. The first item is to review the town board minutes of February 19th, 2020. Does anybody have any comments? Okay. The work agenda, number one, Jimmy Gilchrist, Director of Recreation and Parks, consider request to authorize advertise for bids for the irrigation, water supply, airport park, field improvements. Jimmy?
Sure. All right, thanks. This is for Phase 3 of the airport park. So Inside Engineering completed a set of plans for running the water line and electric from well number 7 on the county golf course property over to the airport park. So when I received it last week, I sent it over also to the town engineering department. They had about 14 comments on the bid package. You know, a lot of them were small, so Inside Engineering has most of those comments taken care of. So the plan is, what we're hoping is that you guys will approve this tonight to go out to bid. And if it's at all possible, if we can have you guys vote on it so the town clerk can advertise it tomorrow and then have the bid packages available for the public on March 5th. Because that goes into our timeline that we're trying to keep this project moving along. Mm-hmm. So our plan was if you guys could review it and approve it tonight, we would have the bids available on March 5th. We have a pre-bid meeting scheduled for March 10th. The bids would be due back to the town clerk by March 19th.
Okay.
Inside Engineering would review the bids and have the recommendations back to us for the work session for March 25th. And you guys would vote on it the following voting meeting, which would be April 1st. And we would authorize the contractor to start on April 13th, and hopefully the work would be completed by May 15th.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Our goal has always been to try to have it done, by June.
Right.
So,
No, I definitely hear you, Jimmy. But you said something earlier that Jeff sent this over to, or you sent it over to the engineers and they had.
no, sent it to me.
Sent it to you.
Last week. I got it over to the engineering department.
And that they had some comments. Were all of those comments,
They were sent to Inside Engineering. I contacted them this afternoon around 4 o'clock, and almost all the comments are completed. They're very small. They're minor comments with verbiage and different
I'm
things.
just afraid if we put, is it okay? The only thing I don't want to do is put something out to bid that's not ready to go out.
Yep.
Rich, it's,
It will be ready.
Minor comments, or they were editorial, and they were anything else.
so it'll be fine. Okay,
Yeah, this will be ready for the public.
all right. Does anybody have any questions?
No, but we have to appoint.
If you want to consider voting it tonight, as the chair of the meeting, you would appoint a clerk, because we don't have a clerk here tonight. And the clerk would take you would conduct the roll
The
call
roll call,
vote,
all right.
and the
Can-
clerk would record
Greg,
it.
do you guys want to do a vote on it tonight?
Yep.
Is that
we
okay?
should.
All right.
As long
So
as-
Greg, can you be the clerk?
Are you appointing
I
me
am
as such?
appointing Greg
I am.
Fulchetti as the clerk
Raise your right hand.
for tonight. Yes.
Okay, so you need a motion, a second, and a roll call vote.
Okay, so I need a motion to accept the,
Authorize.
to authorize advertising for bids for the irrigation, water supply, airport, park, field improvements.
moved.
So
Motion.
moved by Frank Lombardi. I need a second.
Here.
Second by Bob Chanel. And roll call vote. I don't have who goes first.
Okay, it's Councilman Channel,
Councilman Shannon?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilman
Councilman
Borelli,
Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
and
Supervisor.
Deputy Supervisor McDonough.
Yes.
Okay, so the motion passes 4-0.
And then
Okay.
Kenny's absent. Yep.
Kenny's
Most of
out.
motion passes. Perfect,
All
Jimmy.
right,
So
thank
we
you.
vote on that, so that timeline will be perfect.
Yep, and I have everything all set for Ann Spofford for tomorrow morning, so
Okay,
I'll get
that's
that to her.
great.
We're ready to roll.
Good.
All right,
Thank
thanks for taking care
you.
of that.
Yep, no problem.
I will alert the clerk's office tomorrow morning that the vote was taken.
Okay.
And in the manner it was taken, and then the
Great.
advertisement go out.
Yep, thank you. So the next, number 2, 3, 4, and 5 are for Rich Franzetti. So Rich, number 2, I'm not going to read them because you're just going to go through them anyway, so go ahead.
So the first one is a request to go out to bid for contract 251 Carmel Sewer District 1 main extension. As the board is aware, the engineering department was authorized to prepare a map plan and report for the installation of approximately 450 linear feet of 8-inch gravity main, sewer main along US Route 6. This request was made by properties of 534 and 540 US Route 6, as they are within the Carmel Sewer District 1 boundary, and the owners of both properties have been paying O&M costs since 2002. As per the attached in the documents provided, Putnam County Department of Health has approved the plans, and New York State DOT has issued the necessary permits to perform the work. At this time, the engineering department requests authorization to let the project out for public bid upon completion of the plans and specifications.
Does anyone
Rich.
have any questions?
Yeah, where did you get the tax since 2002?
I'd have to go back on my notes on that, but that's, when they made the request, we looked at it, and I think it's part of what either controller has it.
Marion,
or
does
the
it go
tax
back into
receiver.
the 80s? The O&M should have went back into the 80s. It says since, the tax has been paid since 2002. Tax has been paid since the 80s. Yeah.
And I would
That
have to
one
go
know,
back on
my-
the record on that.
No,
Yeah.
because my favorite possessed reporter's not here tonight, and I know this building because I sold it to the person.
Okay.
And I paid O&M
Back then.
over 20 years and never received it. So that was just a gag for him.
Yeah, I don't know why
But,
2002 is
I
what
believe it
we,
goes back beyond 2002. My question is that.
I could double check that.
I remember looking back at this because it was, we were determining, how
Back
much
far.
we paid if the town was gonna have to reimburse them for that.
There was a calculation of when this came up maybe a year ago.
Yeah. That was one of the first pieces of property that Tommy and I bought, and we always paid.
All right, so Rich.
So
between
Marianne
you-
and Rich, if you guys will get on that before and get back to the board members before next week? Great, thank you. Okay. Rich, the next one, number 3, acknowledging payments for emergency repairs, Carmel Water District number 2.
So a memorandum is being presented to the board to advise the Board of Emergency invoices submitted in payment of excess of $5,000 for services rendered. Brief summary of the work that was performed in Carmel Water District 2. Locate, connect service to a new main on Route 301. There was an invoice of $7,350.24 for Cook Excavating for services in January 23rd and 24th to locate, trace, and connect an existing service line to the new main. Blacktop restoration at 3 locations, 2 East Collier, North Road, and Glenview. There was an amount of $6,138.20 for Cook Excavating for blacktop restoration services due to prior water main repairs that had previously occurred, December 22nd for 2 East Collier, January 10th for North Road, and January 23rd for 90 Glenview. And then there was a curb valve replacement on 38 Glenida. February 23rd, Infomark, the operators of Water 2, notified the engineering department of a broken curb box and curb valve at the referenced address. There was an invoice in the amount of $5,604 for Cook Excavating for the curb box replacement and lawn restoration.
Does anybody have any questions, comments? No. All right, Rich, number 4, consider request to authorize payment of invoice, East of Hudson Watershed Corporation.
As the board is aware, the town of Carmel is a member of the East of Hudson Watershed Corporation. The East of Hudson Watershed Corporation is made up of 19 municipalities from Dutchess, Putnam, and Westchester counties, and was established as a regional stormwater entity in response to heightened phosphorus removal requirements under the New York State DEC stormwater regs. The East of Hudson Watershed Corporation administers, coordinates, and installs regional stormwater retrofits with funding made available from the New York City DEP, Westchester County, and Putnam County. Through the AOH, member municipalities are collectively achieving compliance with stormwater retrofit projects through bubble compliance, regardless of the physical location of each retrofit. In the attached, the East of Hudson Watershed Corporation O&M policy for each municipality has to maintain stormwater retrofits that have been installed. The town adopted this policy in 2016, in February of 2016. Due to public compliance, the town is required to pay for O&M based on the town's overall phosphorus reduction, not just for those SRPs installed in the town. the East of Hudson provides the O&M for the SRPs located in town. There's an invoice in the amount of $20,522.52. For the O&M performed in 2019, per the controller, there are not sufficient funds in the budget, and this will have to be included as part of a transfer in the December budget revisions to cover the cost. Just so the board is aware, the 10-year phosphorus reduction goal for the entire East of Hudson Watershed Corporation is 919 kilograms. The town's portion for 10 years is 144, around 16% of the total. There have been 13 SRPs, or stormwater retrofits, installed in the town with 43.7 kilograms, which is about 30% of the town's goal. And that's pretty much it.
All right, does anybody have any questions on number 4?
No.
No, okay. Number 5, Rich, consider request to accept proposal for utility surveying Carmel Water District Number 2 distribution system upgrades.
Proposals were solicited for the reference project, which is utility surveying in support of distribution system upgrades, RFP 2020-02, on January 23rd. The project is to survey marked utility in the areas for the upgrades in the Carmel Water District 2 distribution system. There's an attached drawing which shows approximately 75,000 linear feet to be surveyed. The town will initiate design basis code. The town will initiate design basis code 53 call outs to utilities servicing the project area. The project entails surveying those markouts and incorporating them into the AutoCAD base map for the project design. Proposals received on February 14th, 7 firms submitted. The cost ranged from $19,000 to $705,000. It should be noted that the RFP, that it was in accordance with New York State Department of Labor regulations, that proposers are required to pay New York State prevailing wages to all employees. In review of the proposals, the lowest proposal was deemed not to be responsive as they did not meet the requirements set forth in the proposal and addendum. Non-responsiveness included failure to include surveying the location and elevation inverts where the sewer storm drains cross water mains, and their price and non-conformance with the project schedule. The next lowest proposer, Tectonic, was evaluated and determined to be responsive. There's a copy of the proposal review attached. Only the 3 lowest were reviewed for this. We've advised the controller of the expenditure, and there are sufficient funds budgeted for this work as described. We recommend that Tectonic be chosen for this project.
Okay, great. Any questions?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Mike.
yeah, I have a big problem with this. And it seems to be a pattern which I want to put an end to. You have 8 bidders. The lowest bidder is $19,000. The highest bidder is $705,000 for the same exact job. Take out the first and the last, then you have 6 bidders in the middle. The difference between the second bidder and the next to last bidder is still 400%. There is no way this RFP went out with specific scope. It's not possible. And I want to see what went out, and I want to see the response from all 8 bidders, not just the 3 lowest proposers that were evaluated. And I'd like to see it tomorrow or the next day, so I can make a decision before next week. But Tectonic, I have no idea who they are. They seem to get a lot of Town of Carmel's work. And this is a simple job. There can't be a difference of $680,000 between bids. It's not possible. Something was either wrong as the RFP went out. It's not possible. I've been in this business too long. No doubt in my mind.
I will forward the board the proposal and the RFP and all the proposals tomorrow
Who
morning.
did the RFP? You or Rob?
I had developed it.
Who did it? All right. I mean, did you have specific scope in it?
Yes, yeah, it was in there.
How could they be 19 to 700,000?
Right, you throw out the first and last one because they were truly non-responsive. You look at the bottom 3, they were fairly close to each other. I think they weren't looking at the correct linear footage, and they were charging a higher amount for the prevailing wages. I think that's what threw the whole thing off, is the prevailing wages.
Throw out the 2 crazy low and high ones, and you still can't have a 400% difference between 6 bidders. Not possible. So
I will get
I'd like
all
to
the
see it.
information to the board, not a problem.
Okay, so Rich is going to give everybody the RFP as well as all of the information on the surveyors that came in with the costs, okay? And if everybody can please look at it, hopefully before sometime next week, so we know if we put it on the agenda or not, okay? Everybody else good? Okay, thank you, Mike. So number 6, Rich, perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Mary Ann, number 6, consider budget revisions, December of 2019.
Good evening. This is to consider budget revisions for December of 2019. Just going to cover the larger ones. There's a lot on here, but if you have any questions on any of them, please let me know. In the general fund, the first one in the general fund, we are providing for the cost of additional legal counsel investigation per authorizing resolution. We're providing $20,000 into the miscellaneous legal expense line. Number 2, in the general fund, we're transferring $16,000 for the East of Hudson watershed. That's what Rich had covered earlier in the agenda. Number 2, we're transferring from miscellaneous expenses in the general fund. Number 3, we're transferring from miscellaneous police expenses to include $8,500 in community police overtime, $1,600 in police night differential, and $2,300 in utility expense. Number 4, we're transferring police funds for a future purchase of ballistic vests. The chief had requested that we put aside $30,000 in one of his lines and move it forward to the 2020 budget. So we had to transfer the money into the equipment line so that we can do that in the 2020 budget to purchase those ballistic vests. Number 5, we're transferring miscellaneous highway expenses within the general fund. Number 6, we're transferring miscellaneous recreation expenses within the general fund. Number 7, we're transferring for the costs related to the comprehensive master plan per authorizing resolution. That's $112,560. On page 2, in the highway fund, we're providing for a payout of accrued time for a retiree. That's $31,864. That comes from a fund balance. Number 9, in the highway fund, we're providing for snow removal overtime and material expense. This is from storms in November and December, totaling, the total expense is $245,000, $70,000 for overtime and $175,000 for materials. Number 10, we're providing for highway services to other governments, that's $2,000. Number 11, we're transferring from miscellaneous highway expenses to include $35,000 in machinery repair expenses. Number 12, Lake Cassey Park District, we're transferring for utility expense and refuse disposal. Carmel Water District number 2, transferring for equipment and emergency repairs, a total of $19,100. Carmel Water District number 7, transferring for equipment and emergency repairs of a total of $4,000. Carmel Water District number 8, transferring for $14,000 for emergency repairs. Carmel Water District number 10, transferring $3,000 for contractual repairs and $7,000 for emergency repairs. On page 3, Carmel Water District number 14, providing for emergency repairs from the fund balance. There wasn't enough money left over in the budget, so we had to pull $9,000 from the fund balance to cover emergency repairs. Carmel Sewer District number 2, we're transferring for miscellaneous expenses in the sewer district, $20,000 for contractual repairs, $16,000 for microfiltration chemical expenses. Carmel Sewer District number 4, we're providing for contractual repairs, and again, this is coming from the fund balance because that district did not have enough funds in the budget to cover it, so we had to pull $75,000 from the fund balance in that district.
Mary Ann, I don't mean to interrupt you.
Mhm.
When
Sure.
we're taking money, just for the public's sake,
Yep,
when we're taking money out of the fund balance for individual water and sewer districts,
yes.
where they're putting it back once that money is in their account and it goes back into our general account, is there a small interest rate that we're charging on that? between government funds?
No, because it comes from
Right,
that, it comes
okay.
from that district's fund balance. It's not like it's coming from the general fund.
Right.
You know, it's coming from that specific,
Okay.
you know, fund balance, you know, in that, within that district.
Yeah.
If we were to transfer, then we would have to charge interest back.
I just for the
Right.
sake of the public.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, no, that's fine, yep. And if we had done this earlier in the year, we would have raised taxes to you know, to replenish that fund balance.
In that district.
But because this, you know, it's so late in the year that we had to pull the money, we'll have to do that in 2021 to replenish the fund
Okay.
balance. But luckily, there was enough money in this district. There's been some, I guess Rich is not here, but Sewer District 4 has been, there's been a lot of repairs and, you know, emergency repairs in that district, so. Carmel Sewer District Carmel Sewer District number 5, we're transferring $20,000 for engineering services for Carmel Sewer District number 5 facility plan upgrade. In the lighting districts, we are providing for LED lighting expense. This was done earlier in 2019, $12,000 in the Mayapack lighting district and $200 in the Daisy Lane lighting district. And the last one on page 4, we're providing for a transfer to the debt fund for a future band payment of $200,000.
Okay, perfect. Does anybody have any questions on these? And then also Mary Ann said, as you said earlier, if you have any questions regarding any of them or the other ones that she did not go over, just give her a
Yeah.
buzz.
Yep.
All
yep,
right, good,
exactly.
thank you, Mary Ann.
Okay.
Number 7, consider request to authorize encumbrances of 2019 funds for expenditures in 2020.
Okay. We do this every year. These are funds that are encumbered in 2019, but we're going to be carrying forward to 2020. So I'm just going to go over the list. Basically, this is, you know, just projects that were earmarked, you know, by resolution or, you know, discussion during budget time, but the projects weren't done. And I usually go over with the managers, I go over with Jim for recreation, the chief for police, and, you know, kind of look at the funds the lines that, you know, have money in them, and then if they want to carry the project forward, that's what this resolution is doing, so. In the general fund, data imaging equipment, $65,000, we've been accruing $10,000 a year to build a fund balance, basically, for the data imaging equipment. The town clerk had asked for this a couple years ago, so we just keep building it each year. So we have $65,000 in that line. Software conversion, we've been carrying forward $73,435. The balance left in the master plan, we had budgeted about $200,000. And as I mentioned earlier, we are transferring $112,000 for the master plan, so there is a balance of $87,000 that will remain in the contingency line for future expenses, maybe related to that or something else. $28,000 is also left, $28,688 is also left in the contingency line for 2019. We've earmarked that for Swan Cove improvements, so we can move that into that line. I mentioned earlier the $30,000 for the ballistic vest purchase. $43,482 is remaining in the parks video surveillance line. I think there are 2 parks left to do. Yeah, so that will cover that. $15,000 is blacktop, is earmarked for blacktop at Sycamore Park walkways. $20,000 is earmarked for bathroom upgrades at McDonough Park. $13,250 is earmarked for McDonough Park irrigate fields and water systems. And then we have $170,849 in the park capital improvement line. So it's a total of $547,344.
Okay, perfect. Does anybody have any questions? No? All right, thank you, Mary Ann.
Thank you.
So Greg, do you want to handle number 8? It's the 30-day notice of
Notice?
ABC, yeah.
Sure. You have an application from council for 597 Realty LLC looking for a waiver of the 30-day period with respect to their application for a on-premises liquor license. The property's at 597 Route 6. And this process is generally a pro forma thing that the board engages in because you have the right to be heard on it one way or the other. There is a 30-day window for you to do so. the applicants, in order to get their application in front of NISLA, the State Liquor Authority, they usually ask the board to waive that period so that their application can proceed before the board more expeditiously. And unless you have a particular issue with the location, from a local perspective, usually the town waives it, because the State Liquor Authority will go through the radius of the other liquor licenses that have been issued within the confines of the alcohol beverage control law. So
Okay.
typically, the board does it. You're certainly entitled to if you wish, or if you want to wait. That's up to you.
No, there were no complaints at this location previously.
Where's
No.
597?
No, we've consistently waived them.
Yeah.
Was the...
It's where Geno's
Was
is.
the old Geno's.
The old Geno's.
Okay.
Yeah.
579.
Right.
Okay, that's what I got.
All right, does anybody have
Okay.
any questions? No, okay. Number 9 is to consider additions to the active list of the Mahopac Volunteer Fire Department. The Mahopac Volunteer Fire Department has added the following persons to our rolls. We would respectfully request to add the following: Jeremy McGuigan, and the next one, Michelle. Anybody want to help me out with this one? Tenement Pagway. Michelle, I apologize, from Mahopac, New York, and Jeremy is from Carmel. Respectfully submitted, Brian Lena, corresponding secretary of the Mahopac Volunteer Fire Department. Any questions?
No questions, no.
Okay.
Thank you to them.
Yes, thank you. So, number 10, we thought we were going to have all of the information to discuss it tonight. We unfortunately do not. So we will be adding this to our work session, our next work session, which will be in 2 weeks. And we should have all the information by then. So with that being said, the work session is over. It's closed, so we have public comment, 3 minutes only on agenda items only. If anybody is here that would like to speak on agenda items only? No, okay. Any town board members? No, okay, so now we're going to open it up to open forum. Public comments on new town-related business, 3 minutes only. For town residents, property owners, business owners. Does anybody would like to come up and speak about, it's open, about anything within the town? No, any town board members? No, okay. Yeah, thank you, Frank.
Okay, just like we announced last week, and I'll read it with my new glasses. This is for, March 20th at the Carmel Fire Department on Glenida Avenue is Putnam County Teen Health Day. It's from 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Bring a friend, free and confidential information regarding HIV, hepatitis, mental health abuse, and much, much more. So again, that free giveaways, raffles, music. So again, March 20th from 8:30 to 2:30. Saturday, March 28th at South Putnam Animal Hospital on Baldwin Place Road is a free rabies vaccination clinic. Bring your dog, cat, and ferret for a free rabies vaccination. Dog must be leashed. Cat and ferret must be in carrier. And all animals, I don't know why you need to write this, but all animals must be supervised by an adult. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't, I can't, as opposed to, items need to bring photo ID for a proof of resident of Putnam County resident and proof of prior rabies vaccination. Tags are not acceptable. However, if you do not have proof of prior rabies vaccination, your pet will receive a 1-year rabies vaccination. Any questions, please call Putnam County Department of Health, 845-808-1390, extension 43160. And I don't know if you can get, but we'll announce it again. This is on the 28th, so
Yeah, we still have a
you'll hear
few
it for another
weeks.
4
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. So we do have executive session. Mary Ann Maxwell, the comptroller, it's an insurance contractual. And I just want to close this with good night, Ed, and to a very special person. And I want everybody to get home safe, and we'll be closing it in executive session. All right, thank you, everybody. Get home safe.
Did he walk in?